Hi, in this video we're going to be discussing some of the more common computer problems. So this is going to be fairly basic, so we're not going to go into a lot of detail, but this might come in handy if you plan on maybe trying to repair your own computer at home or troubleshoot problems, or if you're just getting into the IT field and you want to have an idea of what you're going to be getting into. All right, so we're going to be talking about hardware and software types of computer problems. So we're going to give you some scenarios with some causes and some potential solutions. So of course, when it comes to computer problems, there is rarely a time when it's just one solution to a problem. There may be 5 different reasons why a certain thing could be failing. So you have to really kind of dig in and do some troubleshooting to figure out the cause. So you'll find that many times it's more of a trial and error thing until you find the right answer. All right, so let's start with some hardware problems here. So one common problem is overheating. So when your computer overheats, you risk damaging it, and many times computers have safeguards to where they will actually turn themselves off before they allow themselves to overheat. And then, of course, if you have anything open, then you're going to be losing data when that happens. All right, so here are some of the causes for overheating. Dust buildup in the fans, heat sinks, and vents. It's always a good idea to blow out your computer with compressed air. Take off the case, obviously do it outside, and make sure you're holding the can correctly so you don't get any of the liquid on any of the parts. Then you could also have malfunctioning cooling components such as broken fans or worn out thermal paste on the processor. Or if you're putting your computer under a desk with a bunch of stuff piled around it, it's not going to be able to breathe and get that hot air out of there. All right, so some of the symptoms of overheating: frequent shutdowns or reboots, high fan speeds with excessive noise, so your fans will be working overtime trying to keep it cool, and then you might see some reduced performance. All right, so some solutions: clean the fans, the heat sinks, and vents regularly using compressed air. Replace the thermal paste on the CPU as needed, and ensure that the computer has adequate ventilation, and avoid placing it near heat sources like your space heater. All right, so let's talk about some hard drive issues now. So as you probably know, the hard drive is what contains your operating system, your programs, and your files. And there are different types of hard drives. We have the spinning disks, which are still in use, and then we have the SSD, NVMe, M.2 hard drives, which don't use any spinning parts, so they're kind of like flash drives, but hard drives. All right, so some of the causes: mechanical wear and tear in older drives. Like I said, you have those spinning platters inside the standard hard drives with those read-write heads. You could get drive corruption due to power loss. So that's why you should always shut down your computer properly instead of just turning it off. And also physical damage from drops or vibrations. Obviously, you don't want to spill water on anything electronic, and you don't want to move your computer while it's running, especially with a spinning disk, because you risk data corruption. All right, some symptoms: slow read and write speeds, clicking or grinding noises. This will be most likely in the spinning disk, not really the SSDs. And then you might get some file corruption. You might get some OS corruption as well. All right, some solutions here. You could use diagnostic tools such as the Windows Check Disk or Crystal Disk Info, which is a third-party app, and they could be used to assess the drive health. And then if your drive starts to fail, back up your files or clone it to a new drive before it fails completely. And then, of course, you want to do regular backups to begin with, whether your drive is failing or not. All right, so now we have some RAM issues here. So as you probably know, RAM is what stores the open programs on your computer, as well as operating system functions. So the more RAM you have, the better. All right, so some of the causes: faulty or improperly seated RAM modules. That's an easy fix. You could just take them out and make sure they're seated properly. They have the clips on the end so you could snap them into place. And then if you don't have enough memory for your resource-intensive applications, you're going to have some problems as well. So if you're doing photo editing or video editing or some serious gaming, then you're going to need a lot of memory to handle it. To me, RAM is more critical than processing power, because most computers have plenty of processing power to do whatever needs to be done, where running out of RAM is more of a common issue. All right, so some symptoms of failing memory: random system freezes or restarts. And you'll see this happen with other hardware too, like processors, same type of symptoms. All right, blue screen of death errors in Windows with memory related messages. So when you have a blue screen error, many times they'll give you a code at the bottom that you could look up and see what the cause was. And then if you have slow performance with multitasking, that could be another sign. All right, so some solutions. You could test the RAM using tools like memtest86. Windows has its own built-in memory tester as well that you could try. And if you think it's just a problem with not enough RAM, you could upgrade it, add some more to it if you have the space to do so. Or you could always take out your existing RAM chips and replace them with bigger ones. Just make sure your motherboard supports whatever you're trying to put in there. And then once again, ensure that the RAM modules are firmly installed in the slots. All right, so now peripheral device problems. So this could be stuff like external hard drives, flash drives, if you have like a dedicated video card or sound card, keyboards, and so on. So this covers a broad range of devices. All right, so some of the common causes can be loose or damaged cables and ports. So if you could swap out a cable or try a different port, that's always the first step. And then you might have issues with outdated drivers for printers and keyboards. Usually keyboards and mice don't need drivers, but some of them have extra software, to program the buttons and keys and that type of thing. And then if you do like a Windows upgrade or a major Windows update, sometimes you'll have to update your drivers as well. All right, here are some symptoms. So devices are unresponsive or not recognized by the system. So let's say you plug in a USB flash drive and it's not popping up that it's recognizing it and it's not showing up in File Explorer or disk management. That could be a sign that it's going bad or the port's going bad. Then you might also see some error messages related to these devices if they're not working. All right, so some solutions: reconnect devices and check the cables, update your drivers. So obviously you're going to have to know what the device is to go to the proper website to get the drivers, and then replace anything that shows any physical damage. All right, and then we have power supply issues. So the power supply is what powers your computer, so everything inside the computer connects to it to get power so it can work properly. All right, so some of the causes, you could just have a general power supply failure, or if you're trying to add too many devices like a high-end video card to an underpowered power supply unit, then it's going to give you problems. So always check the requirements before doing so. And then if you have power surges or fluctuations, that could damage the internal components. So always use some kind of UPS or power strip that has a power surge protection. All right, for symptoms, so if the PC doesn't start or shuts down unexpectedly, you can see this is a common problem for various types of hardware issues. And if you smell anything burning or hear an electrical noise, that could be a problem. And if that's the case, unplug it immediately, take the cover off, and see if you can figure out where it's coming from. All right, so some solutions. If you have a power tester or multimeter, you could test your power supply that way. Or you could replace it with one that meets your hardware's power requirements if it's underpowered. And then, of course, like I said, use a surge protector or UPS to plug your computer into. All right, so now we're going to get into some software problems. All right, so slow performance in your applications. So you may have too many programs running or too many things running in the background. And that goes back to the memory issue again, because your RAM could only handle so many open programs. All right, so if you have some malware or virus infections consuming your system resources, or if you have outdated drivers or software conflicts, that could also cause a problem. All right, some symptoms might be long boot times and sluggish response, and then frequent freezes during regular use. All right, so as for some solutions here, disable unnecessary startup programs via Task Manager. So if you open Task Manager, there's a startup tab, so let me show you that real quick. All right, so there's a couple ways to open Task Manager. Control-Alt-Delete is one, or you could right-click the taskbar and choose Task Manager. Then if you expand this here, you'll see your startup apps. Then you could sort by enabled here. So all of these things are enabled, like mobile devices, for example, on this computer. I don't have any mobile devices attached, so I could disable it by right-clicking on it. And if you're not going to use OneDrive, definitely disable that, because there's no reason to have that running. And then some things you want to leave enabled. For example, the security health assist tray you probably do. So before disabling things, you might want to do a little research before you just disable everything and then run into some problems later. Okay, and while we're here, I want to just show you Device Manager real quick. So here's where you could come to see problems as well. So many times you'll have like a yellow exclamation point on one of your devices. Let's say a network adapter is not working and you can't get on your wireless or something like that. You could also right click it, update the driver, scan for changes, check out the properties, roll back the driver. That's sometimes a good fix. Let's say you update a driver and then you're having problems. You may be able to come back here and roll back the driver if it's not disabled. And then sometimes that'll fix the problem. Many times too, if you right click, uninstall the device, reboot the computer, and then it'll find it again and reinstall it. Sometimes that will fix the problem. So that's another option to try. All right, let's go back to the slides. All right, so to finish out this slide, you want to scan for malware using antivirus software, just in case that's part of your problem. And then always keep your operating system and your other software up to date. All right, now let's talk about operating system crashes. All right, so some of the causes could be corrupted system files due to improper shutdown. And there's some things you could run to kind of check on that. You might have some incompatible software updates or third-party programs that are causing problems. And once again, malware or virus attacks can corrupt your system files. All right, so operating system, they could also show blue screen of death messages or frequent restarts without user action. So once again, this is a symptom of hardware or software problems. So like I was saying at the beginning of the video, there's usually not just one solution for every problem here. Sometimes there are many solutions or many causes for a particular problem. All right, so here are some solutions you could try. You could run the System File Checker or DISM for repairs. Restore the system to a previous state using System Restore. That's always a good one. So lots of times System Restore will not be enabled on your computer. So it's a good idea to go ahead and enable it and make a restore point. You could even do it once in a while on your own manually. And that way, if something goes wrong and you could still use your computer, you could go back to that restore point and see if that fixes it. And the good thing about System Restore is it'll roll back the state of your computer, but it's not going to affect your files. So you don't have to worry about it undoing any changes you made to your files. And then worst case scenario, you could reinstall the operating system if you can't get it fixed any other way. All right, now we have driver conflicts, like we were talking about in Device Manager. So sometimes you could have a problem because drivers are outdated or not properly installed, or you could have conflicting drivers for multiple devices. And then, of course, if the driver is not working, the device is not going to function properly. And you may also have some system crashes or error messages related to that particular device. So solution here, update the drivers through Device Manager, like you just saw, or go to the manufacturer's website and download one and install it. And then sometimes you could use a third-party driver management tool to see if you have anything that's out of date. Not a big fan of those, but some of them are okay to use. All right, internet connectivity issues. So you could have problems such as your router or modem is malfunctioning. You have outdated network adapter drivers for your network card / wireless card, or your internet provider itself could be having an outage. So the way you know you're having an internet problem is obviously you cannot connect to your Wi-Fi or Ethernet connection to get online, or if your speed is very slow, you could run one of those speed tests. So let's go back and show you a sample of a speed test real quick. All right, so if we do a speed test, search from Google here, they have their own internet speed test. You click on that. It'll show you the download speed. So this is actually really good, 400 megabits per second. And then the upload speed, which is always going to be a lot slower. Unless you have like a fiber optic connection, then usually the upload and download speeds are pretty close to the same. All right, so that was a good test there. So we know the internet connection is fine here. And then one thing to keep in mind is just because you could connect to your wireless router, it doesn't mean you're going to get online because there's 2 steps to the process. First, you have to connect to the router with the password. And then once you're connected there, then you're allowed to get on the internet going through your modem. So sometimes the router and the modem are 2 different devices. Sometimes they are all in one device. So many times you can actually unplug your devices and then plug them back in. Wait like 20-30 seconds before doing so. And then maybe restart your computer to have it reconnect to the devices and hopefully get you back online. All right, so back to the solutions here. Just like I said, restart the router and modem, update any network adapter drivers if there's an update. And if it's not you, you may have to contact your internet provider to see if it's something on their end. many times they could actually remote into your modem and do a test on it to make sure it's functioning properly. All right, so now let's talk about software compatibility problems. So if you're running super old software, that might be a problem. So let's say you're on, Windows 11 and you're running some software that was designed for Windows 7. It may or may not work too well on Windows 11. Then you could also have issues with file formats or dependencies. Trying to open a file in one program that's not supported, that type of thing. All right, some symptoms: programs crash or fail to open. And this could be also hardware related and operating system related. So once again, not one solution for every problem. Then you might get compatibility error messages as well. All right, so if possible, use the latest version of the software and make sure it's designed to be used with your version of the operating system, whether you're running Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. And if it is an older program that you can't get a newer version of, try using the compatibility mode for older software. So let's go show you an example of that real quick. All right, so let's say we have this program here and it's not working properly. You could right click on it, go to Properties. There's a Compatibility tab, and then you could run it in an older compatibility mode for an older version of Windows. And then also try some of these options to see if it makes it work better for you. All right, so as you can see, there is quite a bit to diagnosing computer problems, whether it's hardware or software issues. And like I said many times, it's usually not one cause or one solution for these types of problems, so you're going to have to do some troubleshooting on your end to figure it out. All right, thanks for watching and be sure to subscribe.